Celebrated with Randy LaJoie, winner of a second straight Busch Series championship on our last visit to the Rock. Today, LaJoie's vision looms large, eyeing an unprecedented third consecutive title. But standing in his way are the Busch Series new breed, young guns who come to battle carrying some of racing's most famous names. Some with limited experience, but unlimited talent, ready to challenge LaJoie for the series crown. Their fight continues next. A terrific Saturday afternoon for NASCAR competition at the Rock, North Carolina Speedway. Today, coverage of the NASCAR Busch Series, the GM Goodwrench Service Plus 200. Our first NASCAR coverage of 1998. Great to have you with us on a terrific afternoon for racing. A ton of stories here this weekend. Some very fast young drivers. Glenn Jarrett standing by with one of them.
And he's starting on the inside of the front row on the pole in only his 16th NASCAR Busch Series start. Tony Stewart. Tony's already won an IRL race this year, a Silver Crown race, a midget race. Now it's time for a Busch Grand National race. What do you think, Tony?
I don't know. You know, this Shell Pontiac was really good yesterday in qualifying, and in the afternoon warm-up, we had a pretty good car, too. So we're looking forward to good things today. The car was just a little bit tight, and as long as this sun stays down, I think the track's going to come to us.
Okay, best of luck to you. Most people in his camp are very confident this young man can win today. Joining me on pit road, here's Steve Burns.
Hey, Glenn, right behind the 44 of Tony Stewart is Matt Hutter. Lots of young guns in the front of the field, but this is Matt Hutter's second career start in the NASCAR Busch Series. Right behind him, Elliott Sadler, just 22 years old, but last year, Elliott won 3 times on the Busch Series. Next to him, it's Dale Earnhardt. Dale Earnhardt Jr., that is. His dad won the Daytona 500 last week after 20 years of trying. The day before, Dale Earnhardt Jr. got upside down on the backstretch. Starting 10th, a couple rows back, it's Andy Santerre from Maine. He had never been to this track before he practiced and qualified yesterday. But the youngest gun of them all in this field, try Casey Atwood. He's from Antioch, Tennessee, and he's all of 17 years old, Glenn.
Well, Steve, he's not the youngest, but he is certainly the most successful gun in this field. Starting in 17th place, Mark Martin. He has won 8 of the last 11 Busch Series races here at Rockingham. All those young guys that are up in front of him right now, they're watching the rearview mirror. When Mark catches them and passes them, they've all told me they're going to get in line and follow him, do whatever he does, and maybe try to pass him on the last lap, because this is the man with the plan here at the Rock. Here's Steve.
Hey, Glenn, 2-time champion Randy LaJoie is further back than Mark. He's going to start 37th today. He had to take a provisional. Randy had problems during qualifying, did everything but knock the wall down, but it'll be fun to see if he can get up back to the top of this pack.
Hey, don't count him out by any means. Hello again, everybody. I'm Rick Benjamin. Welcome to North Carolina Speedway, our first live NASCAR coverage of 1998 here on TNN Motorsports. And we've got our Saturday group back. Hall of Famer Buddy Baker, 3-time Winston Cup champion Darrell Waltrip. A lot of stories to tell you about today. And, Buddy, I think nobody's talking about anything more than the number of young stars we're seeing rise to the top here.
Absolutely. If you want to remember these names for the future, like Tony Stewart, Matt Hutter, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Jason Jarrett, Hank Parker Jr., and Casey Atwood, they're the stars of the future. They might have to follow Mark Martin today, but you remember these names. They'll be at the front of this pack before too long.
It'll certainly be interesting to see how this all plays out with a number of young drivers. Darrell Waltrip, welcome. Great to have you with us. What kind of racing surface will these guys have to tackle today?
Well, Rockingham has always been real abrasive. It just wears the tires right out. You can expect 75 or 80 laps, and the early going might get better as the day wears on, but we can't even go as far on tires we can on fuel. But you know what I like about young guys? They don't have all that experience. They just know to go out there and stand on the gas and take it to the front. They don't even know. When the tires go off, they just tell them to drive a little bit harder, and they will. So this is going to be a fun race to watch today.
200 miles coming your way from North Carolina Speedway. Round number 2 of the 1998 NASCAR Busch Series season. Joe Nemechek runs a limited schedule. He's not in the field here today, but we've shown you some great names. We'll be back to put this one under green for you in just a moment. Our coverage of the GM Goodwrench Service Plus 200 on TNN Motorsports is brought to you by Texaco, a world of energy. And by the more than 1,750 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts. Welcome back to the Rock. They're lined up, ready to fire them up and bring them out in just a moment for the NASCAR Busch Series. Time now for your Duralube starting grid here today. Duralube starting grid, tomorrow's technology today. Your pole sitter, Tony Stewart. Talked to him a little bit earlier in the Joe Gibbs Pontiac. And the Burton machine alongside car number 9. That's the track gear Ford of Jeff Burton. Second row today, we saw Matt Hunter. He stepped into one of the Team 34 cars, the Stanley Pontiac. Glenn Allen Jr. alongside with a very good run to line up fourth here today. Elliott Sadler will go fifth. Dale Earnhardt Jr. starts outside the third row. Fourth row has Mark Green from Kentucky and Dick Trickle, the great veteran in the Dennis Shoemaker car. Fifth row today, Eldon Sawyer in car number 38. That's the Barbasol Ford. Andy Santerre, one of the youngsters from Maine in that Monroe muffler and brake car. Buckshot Jones starts in row 6 alongside former World of Outlaws champion Dave Blaney in the Amoco 93. That's Pontiac. Mike McLaughlin, pole sitter at Daytona last week. Young Blaze Alexander from Pennsylvania in a Chevrolet. And your 8th row today will have Casey Atwood, just outside Nashville, Tennessee, 17 years young, and one of the old veterans, Robert Presley. He wouldn't probably like to hear us say that, Darrell Waltrip, but Robert Presley certainly got a lot of track time here. Mark Martin, who has been so dominant here in years past, and Tim Fedewa will make up row number 9. Your 10th row, another young star, Hank Parker Jr. Buddy Baker, you like him quite a bit alongside Mike Dillon.
Well, I like his father a lot. He's a Bassmaster champion, but this kid is a great race car driver. I watched him win on the All-Pro circuit.
11th row, Mark Crow from Idaho, Tracy Leslie, one of the veterans of the series from Michigan. That's the Hensley brothers Pontiac. And your 12th row, Jim Bound from Portland, Oregon, coming in with his unsponsored Chevrolet. And Kevin Schwantz, the former World Superbike champion, who is absolutely fearless. One of the Grubb youngsters, the 52 today, is Kevin Grubb from Virginia and Lyndon Amick from South Carolina in the Scana Pontiac. 14th row, Matt Kenseth in the 17 car. That is the Robbie Reiser Chevrolet, and Derek Cope in Mac Martin's number 92. You got Brad Loney from the ASA Series. That's Mike Laughlin's 45 car, and Jason Jarrett, Dale's son, car number 32, the White Rain Ford. Mike Cope, the former Slim Jim All-Pro Series champion, and Gary Layton in car number 46. Take you back, one of the great veterans, Phil Parsons in car number 10, and Shane Hall from South Carolina in the 85. Jeff Crow, Mark's brother. Joe Bessie in car number 6 from Maine, won at Dover last year on TNN. Randy LaJoie, the 2-time Busch Series champion. What do you think, Darrell, coming from row 19? Has he got a shot today?
Well, it's going to be hard, but yeah, he can do it. He's a tough driver, and he'll make it up there.
Harvey Sadler will be alongside. Row 20 today will include Jason Keller and Jeff Purvis in the James Finch car. And also taking provisionals, Stevie Reeves in the Agajanian Curb 43, Mike Stefanik in the 96. Larry Pearson will be shotgun on the field today, taking the past champions provisional in the Beverage Source Pontiac. Ready to go with 200 miles coming your way this afternoon. The GM Goodwrench Service Plus 200 on TNN Motorsports. We'll be back to roll them off for you in just a moment. Back live at North Carolina Speedway, The Rock, the NASCAR Busch Series coming your way today on TNN Motorsports. The GM Goodwrench Service Plus, 243 cars ready to take the green. We'll take a look at our AutoZone race analysis as the clouds start to gather a little bit here. More than $417,000 up today in purse money. 43 starters will go 200 miles. Race record set 2 years ago, well, a year and a half ago. Mark Martin in the fall of 96, 124.397 miles an hour. And I think the key stat, gentlemen, Mark Martin's dominance here, 8 of 11. That's unbelievable at one racetrack.
But you know, he's got a Taurus today. That's a little bit of an unknown for him in this series. And as well as he starts so far back, he's handicapping himself a little bit more every time we come here.
Well, Rick, I asked him about that, and they said, let me tell you about it. We're running same springs, same shocks, everything. We'll be okay.
How often, though, can you run the same setup one year to the next at a racetrack, especially with a new body style?
Well, I think that's what most everybody does. You get a combination for a racetrack, it works. I don't care what you do. You got spring, shocks, sway bar combination. It works. I don't care what you put it on. Probably take it off that Ford and put it on a Chevrolet if it works. He's got a little magic for this place. He sure doesn't want to lose it.
What about tire construction, though? Has Goodyear brought a new tire this weekend?
The tires here are supposed to have a little bit more rubber on them because we all complain about the wear. As I said, 80 laps is about it. And they brought the tire with same construction, same blah, 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 but this got a little wee bit more rubber on it, so hopefully you can run them a little bit longer.
We've got 6 rides to take with you. Phil Parsons will have our Duralube in-car camera. Phil starts back in 33rd spot. Told me this morning he thinks he's got a really good race car today. The Stanley Tools in-car camera for Matt Hunter. He starts 3rd. Matt Hunter making his 2nd career Busch Series start. Winn-Dixie in-car camera from Mark Martin today. That'll be a good shot out of the 17th starting spot. And Randy LaJoie, our Channel Lock in-car camera today from way back in 37th, had to take a provisional to make the show, the 2-time series champion. Shane Hall in the 85 car, our Durashine in-car camera. He lines up in 34th spot. And Mike Stefanik, the Big A Auto Parts machine. He has the Big A in-car camera for us today. Mike Stefanik won 2 NASCAR championships last season in the Modified Tour and also the Busch North Tour. It'll be interesting to watch how he performs today. Let's go to pit road quickly. Glenn Jarrett.
Eldon Sawyer had a great qualifying run. Ricky starts in 9th, but they had an engine problem yesterday. They patched it up for qualifying. They had to change engines. They are running the Daytona engine that they ran last week. They think it'll be fine. One last bit of advice from Sandy Jones, crew chief for Elliott Sadler. He told Elliott, hey, don't try to take your bubble gum out of your mouth with your driving gloves on. Steve?
Please.
Steve Burns is on pit road for us today, too. Go ahead.
Rick, Matt Hutter also had a great qualifying effort. As we said, he's starting 3rd, but this young man is very apprehensive. It's just his 2nd start. He said, we qualified great, but on long practice runs, I'm a little bit worried about the setup. We're awfully loose.
You know, Matt is the son of Ron Hutter, the famous engine builder in so many series, and I don't know, he's been winning a lot of races up in Wisconsin and all, but this is a big step up for him. Only his 2nd race.
Sure is. Safety car about to dive down onto pit road. We've got 200 miles of competition coming your way. Our first NASCAR coverage of 1998 on TNN Motorsports. Glad you're with us. Tony Stewart is your pole sitter. Jeff Burton is alongside in row number 1. They come to the line. The green is out. We're underway at the Rock. And trouble already. One of the Crow brothers machines down inside. That's Mark Crow in the Clearwater car. He gets refired back on the Speedway. Tony Stewart leads Burton down into 3.
I don't know what happened to that 8th car. Did you see what happened?
I did. On the very start there, a bunch of cars got 3 wide there. One car checked up, and everybody started packing up, and he was just in a chain reaction there.
Spun down onto the inside of the main straightaway. Fight for 3rd. Glenn Allen gets inside Matt Hutter to take the spot. And trouble down the backstretch. We've got smoke from one automobile.
That's the 80, the Pro. He was involved in that first lap incident. He's getting back to the pits.
He will come around and get some attention on pit road. We'll show it to you. Here's the start once more. Pro started way back in the field.
See right there, he gets tagged from behind.
Yeah.
Jim Bound involved in that one too. It looked like right behind the Crow automobiles.
You know, we see that happen a lot, Rich. These guys, they're anticipating the starts, what they're doing. Somebody goes, somebody doesn't.
Let's go to pit road. Steve Burns.
And Rick, we've got 4 crew members, make it 5, working to the right front of the 80 car of Mark Crow. Heavy damage to that quarter panel. They're also trying to tape the hood down to get him back on the racetrack. Lots of duct tape and heavy damage to the 80 car.
Tough break indeed. Here's your lead battle. Jeff Burton sticking right with Tony Stewart.
Right now, these 2 cars are nose to tail, and you can see them. They're running very well, but Jeff Burton right now is making his presence known to Tony Stewart. He's looking on the inside there. And right now, right around the bottom of the racetrack, you can see the cars going in and hugging that inside. As they go along, they'll start running a higher line through the corner.
A little further back, you've got 8 or 10 cars in a battle. That's for 9th spot on back. Mark Martin working his way, trying to get around the 59 of Robert Presley.
Yeah, he's got pretty much a roadblock right now. Nowhere to go. It's so traffic's so heavy, and man, these cars are. You can tell it's the 2nd race of the year.
Here's your battle for the lead. Burton to the inside. Gary Layton in trouble. One car on the wall. Stevie Reeves is up in the wall. Got another car involved there, too. Looks like Larry Pearson was in the midst of that. That's heading down into turn 3. Burton grabbed the lead coming down to the stripe. There's Stevie Reeves and the Agajanian Curb Records automobile, the Ford Thunderbird. They are changing to Chevrolets, and that'll hasten their changeover, I think.
Wow, I tell you, a lot of damage to the right front corner there of Stevie Reeves' car. It happened at the back on the back straightaway going down towards turn 3. The black marks all over the outside wall there.
Gary Layton stopped down on the inside of the apron going into turn 3. We'll show it to you once again down the back straightaway. Here's the action. Joe Bessie there.
Okay, this is coming out of turn 2 here. As they come towards the back straightaway, you see Bessie there in the 6th car. They made contact. Layton into the outside wall. Now they're down going into turn 3 and back behind there. You can see the smoke and all the cars getting involved there.
Layton able to gather it up. Stevie Reeves up into the wall with some hard damage to the 43 car. So a tough break for Reeves and for Layton. We are under caution after just 5 laps. Your leaders, Jeff Burton, Stewart, Glenn Allen, and Matt Hutter, the first 4. We'll be right back. back at North Carolina Speedway, Rockingham, North Carolina on TNN Motorsports, the NASCAR Busch Series Grand National Division, race number 2. The 1998 season's been a wild one so far. Reminder, you can check out country.com, your personal source for all things country, from race cars to country stars. Connect to country.com. We have a weekly race day commentary on there as well. And tomorrow, you'll be able to check out the in-car camera pictures from our coverage of the GM Goodwrench Service Plus 400, a webcast on country.com. Rockingham.com is also involved in that. And go online during the race broadcast tomorrow. You'll be able to get even more looks at what's going on via the in-car cameras that we will have here tomorrow.
You know, Rick, coincidentally, that 80 car, I think he and Joe Bessie and several of these guys that are in trouble here were in trouble on the first lap at Daytona. So, and I think they started close to the rear there. You get back here in the back of the pack, you just always got a chance of something happening.
We talked about it at the top of the broadcast, too. You've got a lot of drivers who haven't made very many starts in the Busch Series, much less here at Rockingham. How big a factor is that?
Well, it's a big factor. They don't know this racetrack that well, and like Buddy was saying about turn 2, it's treacherous off that corner over there. It's very tight.
The one thing you have to do, you have to get experience, and how you don't get it if you don't race for it. So that's just part of racing. You have to understand these guys are out there racing just like everyone else. They will make mistakes occasionally.
To pit road, Glenn Jarrett.
Well, guys, Andy Santerre already got a problem here. He's been in there. They've raced the hood. He's got a throttle sticking on the car. They think they might have the problem solved now, but kind of a scary moment. That is not something you want here at Rockingham, because I can speak for that person. I had the throttle stick one time here and I about went out of this place. Also, Tony Stewart, we saw him lose the lead to Jeff Burton. He is already reporting his car's a little bit loose. That's not what you want to be reporting at this stage of the race.
Yeah, real quickly, you know, you got rookie drivers, you got rookie crews, too. Let's take a look at that wreck. Yeah, see if we can figure out what happened here. He's coming off 2 over, wasn't it, buddy?
Yep.
Yeah, we're riding with Mike Stefanik here, who's at the back of the field. This is in front of Mike.
You can see what a driver can't see as he goes through the smoke there. If something would have been there, there'd have been a lot. Mike Stefanik was going through there. Could see absolutely nothing.
Yeah, it looked like Bessie got into that other car and shoved him up in the fence. So, and then he bounced off, and I don't know what happened after that.
A lot of work going on pit road. Steve Burns.
Back here on the backstretch, Rick, Stevie Reeves, tough break for him early in the race. They've got the 10 snips out. They're cutting away what's left of the front sheet metal. The right side completely gone. Now they're taking away the left side. They've got their hands down in the engine compartment, trying to see if there's any loose lines. You see there's a water leak, so tough damage for Stevie Reeves.
Tough way to start things out here at Rockingham. Just a couple of laps on the board. We've completed 9. If we can go green this time, safety car is headed down pit road. Jeff Burton leading him off turn 4 in the Roush Racing Ford, the Trek Gear Taurus. Stewart second. Glenn Allen is third. Hutter and the 66 of Elliott Sadler right there in the top 5.
Yeah, Burton got a pretty nice jump on the start there. Gap between him and Stewart. So I think if Tony's smart, I've watched the kid race a lot, obviously, and I think if he's smart, he'll just follow that number 9 car for a while.
Dave Blaney with Mark Martin filling his mirrors. Blaney had a good run going last week at Daytona, but Martin on the charge. This is for 12th.
Blaney in the 93 car there with Amico on the hood. He could see Mark Martin coming. He kind of went in the corner, bounced up a lane, and Mark went right under him.
When I used to run Nashville a long time ago, that's what I'd always do. Guys that think they were as low as they could get in the corner, and I'd go under them. And that's real intimidating, and that's what Mark does these cats down here in 3 and 4.
Martin getting by Robert Presley a couple of laps ago. He's picked up 12th spot now from Dave Blaney as they work 3 and 4. Tracy Leslie there alongside Hunter. Martin trying to get close to Mike McLaughlin, who was up in 10th to Crickle in that mix as well. Trickle's gotten shuffled back a couple of spots. There's McLaughlin directly ahead. We take a look a little further up. Tony Stewart and Glenn Allen battling for second. Stewart qualified very quickly. He was the only driver to run 152 here qualifying yesterday. They're not sure about the race setup in that car. In practice late yesterday afternoon, when the weather conditions have changed a lot, they were a lot slower, so they've changed things around quite a bit on the Joe Gibbs Pontiac.
You can see Glenn Allen's car there is much quicker from the center part of the corner of the straightaway. And the one thing he has, he's raced here before. He has notes and stuff that he sets his car up for later in the fast run. But you can see him close in as they start down towards the straightaway. He can close right up on Tony Stewart.
Matt Hutter in the 36 getting shuffled on back a few spots there. Elliott Sadler moves into 4th spot. You've got Mark Green right behind him. Mike Dillon is there, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. on the charge, too.
Yeah, you know, Dale Jr. should run pretty good here. If you remember last fall, he had a pretty nice run here, and it was a lot of fun to watch. I'll say that. It reminded me a lot of his dad, so I'm going to keep my eye on him.
Elliott Sadler, that's Buckshot Jones to the inside of the 36 to get the spot away from Hutter. Here's Mark Martin now moving along. Martin trying to move up into 10th spot. He's right alongside Hutter as they battle through the trioval.
See, I've been telling Buddy over here, I said, I'll be glad when Dale Jr. gets mad at Dale Sr., so I have a chance at hiring him.
Mike McLaughlin out of the inside of Hutter as they battle it out for 10th.
Mark's right on the bottom of the racetrack, just like always. So he's got the race set up for sure. He may not have the qualifying set up, but he's got the race set up.
3 abreast down the main straightaway. There's Blaney to the inside of Hutter. So Hutter going backwards here in the early going of the Stanley Tools car.
You know, Hutter's as low as he could possibly run right now. You can watch his car is turning sideways in the corner, and he does not want to go on the bottom part of the racetrack. He's using all that racetrack to do what he can do with it.
See, when you're out there by yourself, and you can get around this racetrack real nicely. But when they come into turn 1 down here 3 wide, you've never been like that before. So you really got to, you don't know what to do.
Randy LaJoie, as we take a look at the group he's running with, trying to come up through the field. LaJoie trying to work his way toward the top of the lineup here today. We ride on board with Phil Parsons. Check that. That's Randy LaJoie.
Yeah,
Phil Parsons. That's LaJoie's on board.
He's making a very nice charge to the front, about like we expected. He had a problem qualifying, but he won't be back in the back long, I don't think.
Randy showing in 32nd spot. He's back there in a group of cars that includes the 45, Derek Cope in the 92, Jeff Purvis in the 4.
Yeah, Jeff Purvis is running quite well. You can see he's going right along. Randy is real happy just following him right now. That was his spotter telling him he was clear as he starts down the back straightaway.
Car down.
Andy Santerre up ahead as well. We're listening to Randy LaJoie's spotter speak to him.
Santerre is doing a great job, too. He had to come in and make that pit stop, but that car is pretty fast, I'm telling you.
Looks like he's been able to stay on the lead lap. LaJoie tracking Jeff Purvis as they work down to turn number 1. Santerre on the outside there. There's the 29 of Bernie Sadler. The 45 car, Brad Loney, the ASA veteran.
Purvis had a great run last week at Daytona, run second, and he's doing a pretty good job here today. He's from up there about where the Casey Atwood kid is from. They're all north side of Nashville. Me and some other boys are on the south side of Nashville.
Middle Tennessee.
Middle Tennessee.
Kevin Schwantz doing nicely too, sitting 25th there, number 88. Steve Burns, what are they thinking down there in the Larry Lockerbie pits?
Well, you guys were talking about Tennessee boys. The spotter for Casey Atwood is none other than Bobby Hamilton, the driver of the Kodak car.
That's some veteran help to have up on the top. What does it do to have a guy who's got great experience on that spot radio?
Well, there again, when they go into turn 1 down here like they're doing right there, 3 wide, you know which lane to, you know whether to tell him to roll up and let those other guys go or go on down in there yourself. You know what the preferred line is.
This is the battle for 26th through 32nd spot. Here's LaJoie trying to get inside Purvis. They battle for 29th.
Boy, it's getting tight back in that pack. I was just looking right there. I was kind of drawing my feet up here because I know what it's like coming off turn 2 with cars up under you and one on the outside.
You know you got a pretty good race going on when your whole television screen is covered up with race cars.
Jason Keller getting into that group as well, along with Schwantz down the backstretch. Here's LaJoie starting to pick him off now. Randy on the move. LaJoie moving to 28th spot. Remember, he started back in 37th, and we've only put 22 laps on the board.
You got to also remember this. He has got to hustle. When you're at 4 back in the field, you've got to hustle through the traffic so you don't go a jeopardy going a lap down.
LaJoie now battling with the 45 of Loney. This is for 28th, and he gets by on the outside. The 2-time Busch Series champion who clinched his 2nd title here last year in the fall, about 4 months ago, 5 months ago. There's Dick Trickle, Matt Kenseth, Tim Fedowa, and Matt Hutter. That's a battle much closer to the front. They're running 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th back there. Hutter at the moment started up at the front. He's being shown back in 17th spot, so this pack of cars a little further back in the running order right now.
Looks like car 55 could be having a problem.
Blaze Alexander in the 20, sitting 18th, being patient. Got a couple of problems in the first 5 laps if you're just joining us. Mark Crowe spun on the green flag. No caution. Then we had an altercation involving Stevie Reeves and Gary Layton just 5 laps in. This is the front of the pack. Jeff Burton got by Tony Stewart a few laps back. He is your leader. Stewart about 3 seconds back. We'll be right back. Speedway on TNN Motorsports, the NASCAR Busch Series. Today, the GM Goodwrench Service Plus 200. Rick Benjamin, Darrell Waltrip, Buddy Baker topside, Steve Burns, and Glenn Jarrett are on pit road. Jeff Burton there, your leader. Guess who is on the move? Mark Martin is battling for 5th, trying to get by Mark Green for the spot on a turn 4.
It won't take long. Mark Green knows he's on the inside, going down into 1. He'll check up and let Mark go right on by. This early in the race, you'd rather follow him than try to hold him up.
He has set up every pass in turn 3 and 4. If you keep an eye on him, he's got that left front wheel under the white line, and I mean, he is digging.
Speaking of digging, Randy LaJoie is digging hard. Started 37th today. He's come to 24th here in the first 33 laps. Moving by Blaze Alexander to gain a spot to 23rd. Steve Burns, are they happy with the 74 car down there?
Yeah, very much so, Rick. The crew members are applauding every lap. Now, the reason he started so far back, he got very loose at qualifying. He got down on the apron, shot him back up to the wall, but he never hit the wall. Talked to Steve Burns, the crew chief, this morning. He said, we're not going to touch a thing with this car. We've got a good race car. He's just got to get to the front with it.
He's got a good race car with a little bit of damage on the right front corner. I was just noticing he come off turn 2. Apparently in the early part of this race, when everybody stacked up on the front straightaway, Randy got a little nick on the right front. You can see it there.
Now, Baker, let me ask you, how can you start as 4 back as he did and be up to 20th, whatever he is, and not have a little damage on your right front?
That's Casey Atwood there in 28 that LaJoie just went by.
Let's jump up to the battle for 8th, 9th, and 10th. Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the middle of that pack of cars, along with Robert Presley there in the 59, the Maxlight Charcoal Machine, and young Mike Dillon in the Detroit Gasket 72. Dillon shown back in 13th. But I'm sorry, that's Elton Sawyer there in the 38. Got confused by the black and red paint scheme. That car looks a little different this year. Elton Sawyer in the 38 is 10th. Right in front of him.
That's with his old Daytona engine. Is doing
That's
pretty
right.
good. Wonder if he took the plate off of it.
You'd think so. You'd think so. As we take a look at these cars working traffic, Presley in the 59 up to 8th spot.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. there in the 3 car. I would imagine right now he's finding out, hey, they felt pretty good in practice, but I'm a little bit loose right now. I noticed the back of the car dancing just a little bit.
As we take a look up top of your screen there, you see NASCAR timing and scoring as presented by MCI. Dale Earnhardt Jr. doing a nice job, sitting 9th here in the early going. Okay, we've run 37 laps. Darrell, you were saying tires would go 75, maybe 80 laps. What are you thinking if you're back there, Dale Earnhardt Jr. back in 9th? Are you happy?
You're just calling in right now to your crew. Tell them need an air pressure adjustment, need a wedge adjustment. The car's real loose, car's real tight. And the crew's rallying over there trying to figure out what to do to help you make the car better when they make that green flag pit stop if they have to.
The one thing tough about this racetrack, a lot of times you'll have a push in the car that'll actually make it look like it's loose coming off the corner and the back will jump out. So a lot of times from up here, what we see is not necessarily the plan when they make the push stop.
Yeah, you'll have the wheels cut so hard left that when the front does bite, it'll bring the back end around. And that's a kind of a characteristic of this racetrack.
Take a look at Robert Presley, the great veteran, the ST Motorsports Chevrolet. Moved into that car midway through last season. Presley sitting 8th behind Buckshot Jones. Field moving out of the main straightaway. There's Mark Green in the 37. Had a good qualifying run, and he's got a nice run going here in 6th right now. Back to Dale Earnhardt Jr. This is the battle for 8th now, trying to put a move on Presley out of the back straightaway.
You know, I expect that 37 car, Mark Green, are going to have a pretty good year this year. He got a year of experience under his belt. That's a good team. They ran awfully well last year to be kind of rookies, so I'm expecting him to do really well this year.
Dale Jr. to the inside, yeah.
Earnhardt looking to the inside. Presley will let him go right on into turn 1. This car is really looking pretty decent right now. What he might be doing is just riding it out right now and trying to figure out what he needs. You see him giving him the hand signal there. Thanks for letting me by and not holding me up.
See, the other thing about the cars is the balance. You may start them out a little loose, knowing they're going to tighten up. You may start out with when the fuel burns off, the car will start to tighten up and feel really good to you.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. doing a great job here so far, sitting 8th in the early going, 41 complete at the Rock this afternoon. Robert Presley sticking right with him now. Now Presley probably thinking he can tuck in and ride there and be in good shape for a while.
Yeah, well, he knows he's driving that. He knows Dale Sr. is telling Dale Jr. what to do, so that'd probably be a good car to follow.
That looked like a move we saw from a black 3 car as he made that pass down through the tri-oval a moment ago. This is the guy who's wearing him out at the moment. 42 laps are on the board. Jeff Burton grabbed the lead early from Tony Stewart. He is out in front comfortably. We'll be right back at the Rock. Our coverage of the GM Goodwrench Service Plus 200 on TNN Motorsports is brought to you by Napa Auto Parts. At Napa, we keep America running. Welcome back live to North Carolina Speedway. The Rock. There's your leader, Jeff Burton, in the 9, and he is in heavy traffic trying to work by Derek Cope and put him a lap down as they come out of 2. He's got the strongest car, no question about that.
Yeah, but just to put it in perspective, Mark Martin just went by the start-finish line as he was coming off of turn 2 over there, so not quite about a quarter of a lap behind yet.
That's the battle for second spot. Tony Stewart, your pole sitter, has run second since about 10 laps in. And Martin, who started back in 17th and just come charging through the field, he is up on not quite Stewart's decade, but almost as they come out of 4.
That gauge you can see on the dash of Mark Martin's car, don't get alarmed. That's the fuel pressure gauge, and when he backs off to go in the corner, it fluctuates back and forth. When he gets back on, it'll level right out.
Martin's got to be awfully happy with the way that car's working here in the early go.
Yeah, you know, I know those guys are just worried to death about those cars, how good they're going to be.
Now.
Well, that's just what they say down in the garage, you know, down there in the garage. They're really worried about it.
Mark Martin is flying low here this afternoon, but his teammate Jeff Burton, how much do they share, Buddy Baker? Burton's been wearing the field out.
Well, you know, their shops are together. They work together, and I'm sure Mark Martin would like nothing better than to share his information with his teammates. So it's a real input for Jeff Burton. He started out great in this division.
Yeah, but that's what I was going to say. Burton last year was, you know, he was winning some races and running good last year. I'll tell you something, it's a pretty good race right now. Mark can't get by the 44 car right now. I think Tony looked in the mirror and picked it up just a tad.
Let's bring Steve Burns in on this, Steve.
Yeah, Rick, just talked to Bobby Leslie, the crew chief on Mark Martin's Busch Grand National car, and he said that they're not going to come until they see Jeff Burton come down pit road, and he also said they're both saving their equipment. How about it, Glenn Jarrett?
Well, Steve, I'm just checking with Buddy Parrott down in Jeff Burton's pits, and they're all going to try to run the halfway depending on tires. Meanwhile, right next to him, Glenn Allen has started dropping back, at a great run going. The pack has caught him now. He's still holding on the 5th, but crew chief John Munson tells me he's lost the plug wire. He's only running on 7 cylinders, so they're going to try to get him in the pits as soon as possible, see if they can correct that. But everybody down here saying they're going to at least try to go halfway if the tires will do it.
There's your leader, Burton, in the 9, working on Brad Loney, who has shown 27th. So Burton with an opportunity to lap the 27th place car here in the first 50 or so laps.
The tires will run 80. They might run 100 miles here. But the thing about it is the driver just has to be really, really careful. It's not that they're so worn out. It's just that they don't work anymore. Once they get down, worn pretty badly.
Mark Martin taking a look on Tony Stewart as they race out of turn 4 and head to the tri-oval. This is for second spot now.
But that's been going on. You know, Mark has passed every car he's come to, just blew right by him. And that's been going on right there for quite some time now. He can't just drive by Tony Stewart. Oh, got trouble, turn 1.
And one car up in the wall. That's Dave Blaney for the second consecutive week. Blaney bites the wall hard, and Bill Davis's body. World of Outlaws champion in 1995. Blaney very fast here again this weekend, but it got away from him, and he backed in hard.
That's the Bill Davis car, and it's a great race car. Blaney learning lessons the hard way right now, but I tell you, this car is really torn up. The back's gone there. You can see it's up to the back window there where he got into it backwards, or the left front corner's torn up.
See, that's the rookie coming out in him. He was going into turn 1. He got a car underneath of you. That's where the spotter's got to say, buddy, let him go, because that's exactly what can happen. It gets tight getting into turn 1.
Our third caution of the afternoon comes out on lap 55 for Dave Blaney, the Ohio star. Young driver of incredible talent, just a maestro in a sprint car. Ran several ARCA races the last couple of years with Stan Hubbard's Ford team and did very, very well. Made the jump this year with Amoco backing into the NASCAR Busch Series, planning 22 races this year.
Boy, these guys are waiting to get down pit road right now. Here comes the leader down pit road as we speak.
Safety crew over to check on Dave Blaney. Leader is on pit road.
another thing, Rich, about the tires. When they start to go away, the car gets a little unpredictable, and things that you were able to do earlier in the race you can't do. And again, a rookie will have a problem like that.
Let's go to pit road. Steve Burns.
And Mark Martin is in, Rick. And you talked about the team racing of Roush Racing. Some of Chad Little's pit crew members from the Winston Cup team changing tires, carrying tires on the right side. It's going to be 4 tires and gas only for Mark Martin. Glenn Jarrett.
Well, Jeff Burton is in. They had a little trouble on the right side. As you say, it down there with Martin's car. It'll also be 4 tires of fuel here. Jeff is down and away. He beats everybody out. Tony Stewart is in down here. And Glenn Allen has got the hood up. They're trying to fix that plug wire. Mark Martin goes by, I believe, in 3rd place.
Tony Stewart's bunched the Joe Gibbs team with a good pit stop, it looked like, for Stewart there. They got him down and away nicely. Here's Glenn Allen Jr.'s machine. We told you a few moments ago. Plug wire troubles. Glenn Jarrett.
They've got, you can see in their hand there, they've changed all the plug wires, so or they had them all in their hand to change them all. They did find it. I can hear the car running now. It seems to be hitting on all 8 cylinders. Nope.
No,
sounds like it's just a little ragged pulling out yet, so I got a feeling he'll be back in next time.
So the Luxair team will have to work on that. Dave Blaney is out of the Amoco Pontiac, and he has taken a breath. His helmet is off. Certainly good news. Let's show it to you again. Get a look at Blaney here on the outside.
Yeah, here he is going down into turn 1 on the outside there, and this car, I don't know if he touched him or not from high this high up. I can't tell, but it looked pretty close.
Let's look at a tighter shot here. We have several angles. You can see going down in the corner there, Blaney on the outside.
Yeah.
This car is all the way on the bottom there. Wow.
It looked from that view as though Blaney might have turned in a little too much.
Yeah, well, that's what happens. I mean, you got to look at it 2 ways. First of all, he's got to make that turn. You know, people always say, oh, he cut in front of him. Well, he did, but he's got to make that turn just like the guy on the inside does, but the angles are so different. The guy on the inside's down low. The guy on the outside swings down in front of him, and they collide.
Tough way to start your Busch Grand National career for young Dave Blaney. 2nd week in a row, his car has come back on a rollback. We're live at North Carolina Speedway on TNN Motorsports for the NASCAR Busch Series. We'll be right back. We're back at North Carolina Speedway in Rockingham, North Carolina, the NASCAR Busch Series. Today, the GM Goodwrench Service Plus 200. Take a look. The driver's getting ready to refire after the caution for Dave Blaney's trip into the wall up in turn 1 a few moments ago, and Bill Davis Pontiac and a hard hit indeed. As we take a look at some of our onboard cameras for you today. Shane Hall's ride. He's getting ready to go again. Buddy Baker.
You can see Phil Parsons, several of the cars going back and forth. You pick up an incredible amount of rubber on the tires just running around here slow. You really have to shake them back and forth like that and get rid of all the stuff on the tire itself.
Yeah, and then another thing, buddy, after a caution, you got your air pressure real low. Yeah. And just in a couple of laps and wiggling around like that, you can get a couple of pound of buildup.
Let's go back to pit road. Glenn Jarrett.
And Glenn Allen is back again in the 99 Luxair Chevrolet, guys, and he has still got that problem. The number 3 cylinder is dead, but in all their stops, they haven't changed tires. That's what they're doing now. We're ready for a restart.
Looks that way. Safety car is in. Jeff Burton will bring them down for the restart. There's the 80 of Jeff Crow coming down on pit road 2, and we are back racing. 62 laps are on the board, and your leader is Burton, and there isn't anybody who can stay with him.
Here comes Martin as they come down the back straightaway. You see him looking on the outside there. He's moved all the way up to 3rd place right now, and now as he goes down in the corner, Mark Martin's got 2nd place.
Yeah, he had a real good bite off on the outside off the 2 over there, and it kind of Tony almost just had to let him go or else get in.
Martin takes the opportunity off the restart to come around to 2nd spot. There's a battle a little further back in the pack. Derek Cope involved in that mix of cars. Dale Earnhardt Jr. back there as well. Everybody tracing the 2 Roush Fords at the moment. Burton and Martin looking a little further back in the pack with Buckshot Jones, Dale Earnhardt Jr. And the 88 of Kevin Schwantz. Here's Derek Cope. Looks like some smoke coming out of the AC Delco Chevrolet as he works off of turn 4.
That'll go away. That's just low air pressure in the tires, and that left rear tire will rub a fender until it builds up a little bit, and then he'll be okay. Oh, we got one high down there. It's Matt Hutter.
Matt Hutter goes up toward the wall. Just as we looked outside at turn 2, Dale Earnhardt Jr. at speed at the moment as the field moves down the back straightaway, just restarting after the Dave Blaney incident a few moments ago. We go on board with Matt Hutter, the Stanley Pontiac.
Outside. That was Larry Pearson on the outside. outside there. You can see right now Matt Hutter must have fixed his car. He's running well.
Looking inside.
Down into turn one, Randy LaJoie working his way up through the pack. His teammate Tim Fedewa right with him. Joe Bessie there as well. They're a little further back in the pack. Randy LaJoie, over call, started 37th here today, and he's been working his way up very patiently so far.
Buddy, Matt Hutter's spotter is his dad, Ron. How'd you like to have your dad spot for you? That'd be a real treat, wouldn't it?
Say, Dad, we need more horsepower.
On board with Randy LaJoie into one. He has worked his way up to 11th. Some good pit work and some heady driving as he goes around Hank Parker Jr. He's not on the same lap as the 74th car at this point down the back straightaway. So LaJoie may be a factor in this one before it's all over. He's got Tim Fedewa, his teammate, right with him, running 12th. They work into turn 3 and 4.
Well, right now with those 4 brand new tires on, everybody out there thinks they're a great race car driver. That'll go away pretty quick.
We were hearing sometimes as few as 20 or 25 laps would be enough to make you hang on hard to your steering wheel.
It makes you finesse the steering wheel and the gas pedal. That's the thing about that 99 car having a plug wire off. It didn't hurt him that bad on worn out tires.
Able to take a little less power, not spin the wheels as much. Phil Parsons we're on board with as he tracks behind the Matt Hutter automobile. They're battling for 14th.
Yeah, Phil Parsons on the bottom there going into the corner.
My goodness gracious.
3 wide there briefly as we check your Napa field summary at the top of your screen. Here's Jeff Burton wheeling alone on through the tri-oval and over the start-finish line to put 67 laps on the board. Mark Martin still showing quite a ways back, 4 seconds off that restart.
Well, you can see right there. You talk about a great start. He's going down the middle of the back straightaway. There's the other car just now coming off turn 2.
Martin's got Tony Stewart right with him, so Stewart gave up second, but he is hanging right in there. Glenn Jarrett on pit road.
Buddy Parent is calling the shots in the pits down here. He's talking to Jeff each and every lap. They made a very slight air pressure adjustment when they changed those 4 tires. That was the only adjustment they made on the car, and boy, does it ever seem to have worked. Jeff has asked Buddy to tell him lap times every lap and to keep talking to him. It helps him keep him in his rhythm. Right now, he is definitely in it.
Well, you can say what you want to, but the cat I'm most impressed with is in 59 right now. That's Robert Presley. He is right there on the back door of Stewart and, of course, Mark Martin, and he's running a great race.
Robert Presley started 16th here today. He has climbed to 4th in the ST Motorsports Chevrolet. He's right with that group of cars, as DW pointed out. Now, he may have Stewart in his gun sights here pretty solid.
He's been working on him last 2 or 3 laps.
Well, if you can remember, a few years back, Robert Presley won at Dover. He was real good on the mile racetracks, and today he has this car really hooked up. I'd say he'll get Stewart before too many more laps. He's looking to the inside down the front straightaway as we speak.
Well, he became very well known through this series, and then stepped up to Winston Cup. And I think it's more of I think his comfort zone is in this series, to tell you the truth.
We talked about at the top of the show. We talked a lot about these young drivers, and it may be an obvious point, but I think it's one worth bringing out. They are quick for a few laps, but the real skill is in running a longer race.
That's it. When the tires wear down and the track changes and then the car becomes a different animal to deal with, and you don't have that experience to know what to do.
Elliott Sadler is one young driver, though, who has picked up a lot of experience quickly, and he is looking awfully strong, sitting 8th there in the Phillips 66 Chevrolet.
Well, Rich, it's the same old story. There are exceptions. I mean, some guys seem to be able to drive these things, and some guys don't ever get the hang of it.
You see Dale Earnhardt Jr. right there on the back of Elliott Sadler. He's really showing a lot of maturity here. This is not an easy racetrack to run. Dale Earnhardt Jr. doing a great job, hanging right on the bottom of the racetrack there. He's working on a guy that's won several times in this division, and he's just beginning here. So this is very impressive run.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. making his 11th career Busch Series start today, and he had that incredible tumble last week at Daytona. Buddy, you were there, DW, you were there. We all saw it happen. What's it like to have to strap in a week later after something like that?
Well, it's pretty nerve-wracking, especially when it was your dad's car.
Yeah, that was always the
I
roughest
can
part.
remember that on the streets.
You know what it was like when you wrecked Dad's car. So you can imagine.
I drove for my father, and that was the worst part of all of it, believe me.
On board with Randy Randy LaJoie as he works up through the field. LaJoie is moving up nicely, still 11th. There's Presley working on Stewart for third spot.
You know, usually Mark Martin just runs off and leaves people, but Tony Stewart is showing me something. He's right there with the 60 car, Mark Martin. He's maybe a car length, 2 car lengths back, but he's running a very, very smart and good race today.
Yeah, you know, when he caught Tony a while ago, he didn't just blow by him and go on, and so that tells me Tony's car is pretty darn good.
And he is an incredible race driver. Anybody who's watched him wheel in any racing league machine, or as we did at Daytona last week, he took his dirt track late model down there and raced a couple of nights while he was preparing for the Busch Series Open.
You know, you got to like him. You got to like what he does, because he races 5 nights a week. It might be on a go-kart, it might be in a midget, it might be in a champ car, but you got to like him.
Well, Robert Presley likes him right now. He's staying close enough to let him know it, too.
This is the battle for third spot. We've got 122 trips to go around the Rock today. Don't forget tomorrow our coverage of the GM Goodwrench Service Plus 400, the NASCAR Winston Cup Series, on the air at 12:30 Eastern Time on TNN Motorsports. That is the 4th place car, and here's your race leader, car number 9. That's the Jeff Burton Ford. It's a track gear machine out of the Roush shops. Kevin Schwantz a lap down as they work down the main straightaway. Big crowd on hand for the 2nd race of the year for the NASCAR Busch Series at the Rock. We'll be right back. This is just the start of a doubleheader motorsports weekend on TNN. We're back here tomorrow at North Carolina Speedway at 12 o'clock Eastern Time for our pre-race coverage on TNN Motorsports. The GM Goodwrench Service Plus 400 for the NASCAR Winston Cup cars. We'll be on the air at 11:30 Eastern tomorrow on race day to set things up for you. Then we'll come to the Speedway at 12 o'clock Eastern Time. Eli Gold will be here tomorrow with Buddy Baker and Dick Bergman, and they'll set things up for you. We've got a full afternoon of motorsports coming your way on TNN tomorrow. There is the battle for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Tony Stewart right there behind Martin with Preston.
He was less than a half a car length back, and they got into some lap traffic, and Tony lost a little bit of ground to him. It seems to me right now that Tony Stewart may be just a little bit quicker than Mark Martin.
Yeah, he may be. And I also noticed, watching some of these cats, they're starting to plow some new ground. The groove seems to be moving up just a little wee bit. A lot of these slower guys are starting to run up higher and higher.
Robert Presley, so impressive so far today in the early going in the charcoal machine, the Matchlite Charcoal Chevrolet.
But as you can see, just behind him, the war goes on. Look at this, 3 wide down into turn 1.
I tell you, I've seen more 3 wide racing into turn 1 today than I've seen in 20 years here.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. up to 8th. We got a glimpse of him a moment ago. Kevin Schwantz goes another lap down. Watch Mike McLaughlin. You all were talking a moment ago. McLaughlin dove inside, made it 3 wide into 3 to pick up the spot just a few moments back. So he's really rolling here today.
Yeah, and you may say, well, so what, DW? Well, what I'm trying to tell you is, folks, they making it. That's the difference.
Take a look at Buckshot Jones there. There's Schwantz in the 88, Dale Jr. in the 3, the 17 of Matt Kenseth. This is for 7th, 8th, and 9th. Schwantz is not in that group of cars in terms of his lap.
And Randy LaJoie in the 74 car, the defending champion in this group here. Started way back, but buddy, he's coming to the front.
We hadn't said much. Is he up to 10?
Yeah.
Hadn't said much about him lately.
The 17 of Kenseth, by the way, also started pretty far back in 27th spot today as we take you inside the Fina Chevrolet, the base motorsports machine of the 2-time Busch Series champion from Norwalk, Connecticut. Randy LaJoie down the back straightaway watching Kenseth. Kenseth and his Robbie Reiser team talked to them for a while this morning. Interesting, they have put Lycos on the car as a thank you this weekend for Lycos' backing the internet search engine company. They supported the team in a one-off at Daytona last week, and they put the decals back on the car just to say we appreciate your backing. So maybe that will lead to something for that team for the entire season. There's the progress that Randy LaJoie has made here this afternoon.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. there in the 3. He's looking Buckshot Jones over in the 00 there. I mean, they are running very, very close at times. It's like they're almost touching.
They've been that way for quite some time, buddy. That's 2 young guys there that really, they're really respecting each other right now. I'll say that. Dale Jr. has been kind to Buckshot and vice versa.
Andy Santerre in that group of cars, although not in the group in terms of the lap he is on. Obviously a slower automobile at this point. Dale Jr. slipped up a little high there, it looks like, when he worked in the corner.
Well, he went by that lap car of Santerre getting in the corner. Once you get offline there, you have to let it drift to make the car to get off the corner.
You know, looking back up front there at Stewart, hanging with Mark Martin, that's the best thing Tony Stewart could do right now.
Santerre very loose coming off turn 2 there. He just barely did get that car back straight. He tried to keep the power on underneath the lap cars there, and he almost spun it out.
Santerre slowing sharply. He's a lap down, and he is losing a ton of ground, being shown back in 26th. As we take a look at the 33 of Tim Fedewa. Dave Blaney took a hard ride into the wall a little while ago. He's doing much better, Steve Burns. Is that right?
Yep, just came out of the infield care center. Dave, first of all, are you all right, and what happened?
Oh yeah, I'm in good shape. I don't know. They told me the 3 car was underneath of me there, and I thought I'd give him enough room. Hard to tell. I guess it is.
They finished 35th last week at Daytona. Another tough run for Dave Blaney early in the season.
Talented young driver, though, and he will be heard from, I think, before the season is over. Certainly with a very good team and a good sponsor.
He shouldn't feel bad. I've seen the best of them pull down thinking they had room to get in that corner and just barely get touched, and away they go.
Yeah, you're real loose getting in there anyway. That first turn is kind of one of those turns where you go in about half sideways. Which you'd think Blaney would be used to that, but
there is your leader, Jeff Burton. 107 laps to go, and Burton has had the lead since the first 10 here today. He is very stout. 3.5 seconds back to his teammate, Mark Martin, who is second. More to come from the Rock. Stick with us. Our coverage today being brought to you by Featherlight Trailers, the official trailers of NASCAR, CART, the IRL, and a major sponsor of the NHRA. Remember to call Featherlight for all your trailer needs at 1-800-800-1230 or 319-547-6000. And by Winnebago Industries, the official motorhome of TNN. Stop by your local Winnebago or Itasca dealer now. See the new models available for 1998. For more information on the Winnebago Motorsports team, call 1-800-643-4892. And remember to ask for extension number 2. We are extending our coverage for you of the NASCAR Busch Series at the Rock today. Welcome back, the 50th anniversary of NASCAR racing. In fact, today is actually the 50th birthday of NASCAR. The sanctioning body started on February 21st back in 1949. There's your leader, Jeff Burton. We take a look back to Mark Martin. The gap is a couple of seconds, 2-3 seconds. What do you think, buddy?
But it's stabilized. Right now, Mark Martin's running just as fast. He's just a half a turn behind right now. Anything can happen in this race, and I think Mark has finally got his car running super well, but look right behind him.
Yeah.
Tony Stewart still hanging on the third there. Really doing a great job.
watch this, though. Mark Martin, well, he's down there pretty low this time, but Mark Martin always runs right on that white line all the way through 3 and 4, and he's up off of that a little bit. That means this car isn't doing what he wants it to.
Here's your leader, Burton, alongside Joe Bessie, who won his first Busch Series event last fall.
88.
Blaze Alexander just about wrecked down in the corner, folks. We was yelling, looking at something else then, but you can see right here Mark Martin right now and Tony Stewart just behind him going off into turn 3. If anything, Stewart may be closing the gap 1 or 2 car lengths every 3 or 4 laps.
Yeah, I think Tony's car is really good over these long runs. The Pontiac seems to be that way here at this racetrack particularly. You think about Bobby Hamilton and Richard's cars always come on late and run good in the long runs. I think that's what that car is doing.
Tony Stewart sits third. Mark Martin is second. There's the 43 of Stevie Reeves, who was involved in an altercation back on lap 5, and they have spent a lot of time in the backstretch pits, as Steve Burns showed you earlier, cutting the front off that car, making it race-worthy again. As we watch Mark Martin try to work his way up toward the leader, his teammate Jeff Burton. This is what had Buddy and DW excited a moment ago, down in 3.
Oh, he's in trouble. You can see him steering right there. Elton Sawyer in the 38 there had to say, don't do it. Great save, though.
It really was. I'll tell you something, buddy. Tony Stewart has impressed me doing something. He said he was going to follow Mark Martin and learn from Mark Martin, and he has done it. Mark's moving up the racetrack a little bit, and Tony still got that left front wheel right on that white line. He saw that pays off. That's going to be big for him later on. We're riding with Matt Hutter now, and he's having a pretty good run himself.
Thinking about what Tony Stewart did here last fall, if you remember, we were here last October, qualified second, ran 9th, but kind of backed up throughout the course of the afternoon. Is he starting to learn some patience in these cars?
Well, here's the difference. Look at the car he's driving. He's got Terry Labonte, Bobby Labonte, Bob Labonte, all of Joe Gibbs's people, Jimmy Maycart. I mean, you know, he's got a pretty good staff on hand to help him get that thing like it needs to be.
Do you think? These guys have won a lot of races, those Bonnie boys in the Grand National Division.
We take a look a little further back, and we will in a moment. Mike McLaughlin is on the move. He has come around Robert Presley and taken over 4th. Look back a little further in the field. There There's McLaughlin. You got a glimpse of the white fender there. There's Martin down into one. McLaughlin has moved up to 4th spot.
Blue and white number 34, and he is doing a great job. McLaughlin's got good temperament for this type of racetrack. They call him Magic Shoes, for goodness sake. So that means
Got one up against the wall, but I don't know if he hit it or not.
that looks like
That's
Like
Presley,
Larry
isn't it?
Pearson in some
Robert
difficulty
Presley.
again.
Yeah, he's dropped back quite a bit.
Is that him or is that 50? I can't
That's
tell.
the 55.
Is that 55?
There's Mike McLaughlin on the move, as we mentioned. McLaughlin with a good run going up to 4th today. Didn't qualify as well as he would have liked. He was the pole sitter last week at Daytona. Managed a 7th row start here today. But Magic Shoes may have this one coming to him before. So
That's the 59 car. I think that's Presley that's in trouble.
McLaughlin working his way along. 91 laps remaining today at Rockingham, North Carolina Speedway. And the weather conditions appear to be changing just a little bit once again, too. We started out in bright sunshine, much like yesterday during Bud Bowl qualifying. The cloud cover has started to work in just a little bit here. We're on the backstretch. Kevin Schwantz up to the wall. Robert Presley comes on to pit road. Kevin Schwantz almost got into the fence as Randy LaJoy works by him. Presley down on pit road. They're going to change right side tires. DW, you may be right. He may have been one of the cars that was up toward the wall, if not in it. We don't see any body damage.
It was him.
Yeah, he didn't hit the wall, but he got up there next to it. I think he's got a tire down.
Let's bring it in every time.
Let's take a look at Kevin Schwantz's difficulty here a moment ago, too.
Well, he's up in the loose stuff. You see the dust coming off the back of the car there? You see the back fishtail a little bit? Very lucky not to get into the wall.
And it's just a byproduct of worn out tires is what it is. These guys run hard after these restarts, trying to stay on the lead lap, and they just knock the tires right off of them.
Schwantz with a good top 10 run last week at Daytona. He's going to bring the 88 car down on the pit road for some tires. The former world superbike champion, an absolutely fearless driver. Jeff Burton is still out in front in car number 9 with 88 laps remaining. Burton sitting on a lead of about 3 seconds over his teammate, Mark Martin. We'll be back with more North Carolina Speedway. Keep it here on TNN. Our coverage of the GM Goodwrench Service Plus 200 on TNN Motorsports is brought to you by more than 1,750 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts. And by NASCAR 98 from EA Sports, now available for your PlayStation. Back to Rockingham, North Carolina. We're under caution for the 3rd time today. There's your leader, Jeff Burton, and here, we think, is why the yellow has flown. Buckshot Jones with heavy damage to the left front corner of the Bear Pontiac, the 00 car.
I believe that happened when he was trying to, there was a 51 car tried to turn down pit lane right back here in the middle of 3 and 4, and these guys run up on him. I believe that's when that happened.
They're going to have to cut some of that away. You see that one piece of metal there on Buckshot's car right near the driver's compartment. We don't want that to swing up, maybe get into the driver itself.
But you know, looking at the car, the damage is the fender area, but his valgus and his nose and all are still there, so he may not be that bad off.
Leaders down on pit road. Opportunity to stop with 115 laps complete. We've got 82 remaining. And here are your 3 leaders. The 9 is your leader. Mark Martin in the 60 is second. Tony Stewart in the 44 is third. Let's go to Glenn Jarrett.
And Jeff Burton brings the track gear Taurus in. Well, that's hard to say. They're going to go with 4 tire change, fuel. Again, I see no adjustments other than air pressure. I can't imagine them changing this car. They've got Greg Zippadelli changing tires on this thing. You know, he was the crew chief for Mike Stefanik's Busch North car last year, and they reeled off a really fast pit stop a while ago. He is down and away in 21 seconds. Here's Steve.
Glenn, Buckshot Jones has major damage to the left front of the 00 car. He had a great run at Daytona last week, finishing 4th. They want to run for the championship. Ricky Pearson is telling Buckshot to go back out, but they've got some loose sheet metal, and I'm pretty certain they're going to have to come back and clip it off.
Wow, tough break indeed for Buckshot Jones and the Alka-Seltzer Bear Pontiac. Hoping to put 2 consecutive good runs together here this week at the Rock, but they've got a lot of work to do. We'll be back with more. Welcome back to North Carolina Speedway, Rockingham, North Carolina. There's the owner of the 2 cars that have been dominating the show here today. Jack Roush watching Jeff Burton and Mark Martin run 1-2, but after this round of pit stops, that may change. Time now for our AutoZone Tech Fact. Busch Grand National teams facing some new rule changes for 1998. Glenn Jarrett takes you to the garage area to check them out.
The only major change in the NASCAR Busch Series cars over the winter were the side panels right here. They have made them straight up and down, just exactly like the Winston Cup car. Now, in years past, this side panel rolled under more like a regular stock car. NASCAR mandated this change to actually take effect for 1999. They gave the teams the option to go ahead and do it, and every one of them did it because it helps the downforce on the car, makes the car drive better, therefore it's a little faster. The reason for doing it was twofold. Number one, to standardize the Busch cars with the Winston Cup cars so that Winston Cup officials could work on Busch cars and vice versa. Also, it helps the driver get a better, truer feel in a Busch car as to exactly what a Winston Cup car is going to feel like when he makes that change.
All right, thank you, Glenn. Brought to you by AutoZone, the more than 1,750 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone for the best parts in auto parts. Here's a look at what happened with the leaders on pit road. Jeff Burton went in as your leader, comes out second. Mark Martin lost a couple of spots, but Glenn Jarrett, Tony Stewart picked up. He's going to lead the pack to green.
Oh, absolutely. He went right to the front of the pack, had a great pit stop. You know, you guys were talking about the guys that helped Tony Stewart get to where he is. Joe Gibbs, Jimmy Makar, Bobby Labonte, Terry Labonte. This man right here, Bryant Frazier, is the active crew chief on race day. Now, Bryant was the crew chief of Steve Grissom when he won the 1993 Busch Series Championship. Bryant knows his way around the race car, too. You can tell. Here's Steve.
Well, Glenn, you talked about Mike McLaughlin having a good run. They came in and absolutely nailed a pit stop, changed 4 tires and got back out. Also talked to Buckshot Jones' crew. They said that Buckshot hit the 51 car of Jim Bound. Bound had blown a tire and basically come to a stop on the racetrack, and we're ready to go green.
Safety car down pit road. Tony Stewart, your restart leader. 77 laps to go. This is the first time that Tony Stewart has led a Busch Series race.
Tony needs to get down into turn 1. Robert Presley went a lap down with the problems he had with the tire. You see him fighting to get that lap back as they head down towards the back straightaway. Right now, he is trying to make up that lap.
Yeah, and he's got a fast car, and he should be very capable of doing that. And now's your best chance when the cars are all bunched up like this.
The 92, Derek Cope, he's got the same idea. You see him looking on the inside, 3 wide down the front straightaway, looking into turn 1.
Tony Stewart hanging on the outside. He is your race leader. Presley, as we mentioned, about to go a lap down. Stewart pushes high. Derek Cope right back there with him, too. Former leader Jeff Burton second right behind Stewart.
Think about another change in this series, buddy. Last year, the leaders lined up on the inside. This year, they line up on the outside, just like the Winston Cup cars do.
They're
and you see what's happening.
Oh, my. Robert Presley almost crashed there.
Wow. Derek Cope to the inside. He may be the one to get the shot at Stewart. Stewart takes advantage to gather up about a 5-car length lead.
Right now, they're all gathering up. Gathering up their breath.
Mark Martin now and Mike McLaughlin. This is the race for third. Door to door into 3. McLaughlin high. Martin is low. And Martin gets by to reclaim third spot.
Not yet. He's still got to fight down that front straightaway. You see Tony Stewart, though, he's got a new guy there, Derek Cope in the 92, fighting to try to get back in this lead lap. And they have to do that. I know you're thinking, why are they doing this to the leader? If you make up that lap, you've really done something.
Yeah, obviously, Cope's got a very fast car. I mean, he's passing the leader of the race. So if he can get back on the lead lap, he's got a chance.
Needs a caution probably to come around and challenge. Stewart in the 44-year leader. Burton in the 9 is second. Presley a lap down in the 59. He's been in the lead group much of the day.
And Mark Martin did get by McLaughlin there. They were fighting it. It looked like McLaughlin had the spot on him, but Mark Martin moved just right out in front of him there.
Down into turn 3. Derek Cope back on the lead lap. He is back in 24th spot. Last car on the lead lap. Here's Burton now challenging Stewart off of 4.
Darrell, you can see it coming. Jeff Burton can run a lower line up off the corner than Stewart. I think he'll get him before too long here.
What I see coming is a huge wreck back there behind them. Golly. If them guys could see behind them, they would drive. No wonder they're driving so fast.
Let's get an update from pit road.
Guys, I got a feeling that Bryant Frazier told Tony to let Cope go by because they need to save as much of those tires as they can for that last run to the checkered flag. So he wasn't going to race him too hard right then. Got a battle for the lead.
He didn't tell Jeff Burton anything. Jeff Burton makes the move on the inside there.
Burton has recaptured the point here at Rockingham today. 26 cars were on the lead lap a few moments ago. It's down to about 24 now, but this is a scramble. There's Cope in the 92, just got back on the lead lap. Burton in the 9, your leader. Stewart in the 44. Rides in second. You can see Mark Martin back there in third, and he has closed it right up. Mark Martin is really coming on strong here in the latter stages of this one. Steve Burns, what are they saying out of the Winn-Dixie pits?
Well, Rick, we know one thing for certain. We just talked to the crew. Mark Martin can go the distance on fuel, and they think his tires are good enough to race to the front also.
Mark Martin, of course, the master here at Rockingham in the NASCAR Busch Series. As we told you at the top of the broadcast, he has won 8 of the last 11 Busch Grand National runs here. He, of course, last year captured the career victory record from Jack Ingram with 31 wins.
Now, you want to see the difference in the guys that have cars that can win and the guys that can't. The 92 car passed and took the lead, but now he's falling back, and he was just running off of pure rubber. That's all. The tires on the car. Chassis now coming into play.
3 wide. Whoa. Mark Green to the inside. Tim Fedewa, Dick Trickle in the battle for 7th, 8th, 9th.
Dick Trickle and Fedewa just about crashed. Dick Trickle went in the corner very, very hard. Got into 33 there of Tim Fedewa. There was a wreck. It never happened. That's all you can say.
Well, poor old Mark Green, he was running 5th when the caution came in. He had a bad pit stop, fell back to 11th. So he's got a pretty good race car.
Phil Parsons with problems in the Duraloop Chevrolet. Looks like, sounds like he's got problems under the hood. He'll come down on the pit road to the attention of the Duraloop crew.
Yeah, that's not a good sign. You can hear metal hitting metal there.
That almost sounds like a tire.
Randy LaJoie to the inside of Dick Trickle to gain a spot. LaJoie was on the move. He had gotten to 10th that last round of pit stops. They lost a couple of spots, but now LaJoie is moving up once again, so give Randy LaJoie 11th spot. Right in front of him is his teammate Tim Fedewa, who is 10th. There is your leader, Jeff Burton, who has opened up a lead again of 1.1 seconds. So Tony Stewart has not been able to stay real close since giving up the lead. Team owner Joe Gibbs watches his young driver ride 2nd at Rockingham. Welcome back to North Carolina Speedway on TNN Motorsports, the GM Goodwrench Service Plus 200 today. Live coverage, our first live NASCAR event of 1998 on TNN. I'm Rick Benjamin, Buddy Baker, Darrell Waltrip, top side here on pit road. Steve Burns and Glenn Jarrett today. And this guy, Jeff Burton, has just put the hurt on him, Buddy Baker.
He has that. It's been smooth for him, but other people in this field hadn't had it that easy today. I tell you, it's been some close calls on several times during the race today where people were in a lot of trouble.
Burton all by himself, stretching the advantage out over Tony Stewart. Here's the 52, one of the 2 Grubb machines. This is Kevin Grubb in the Crestar Bank car, and he has had a difficult afternoon. Look at this off of turn 4, buddy.
You see Grubb's right there. Oh, he gets tagged from behind. Very lucky to hang on to that car. Gets it back under control on the flat part of the shoulder there, the racetrack. Wow, was he lucky.
Good thing this is a tri-oval, because he needed all that room to get that thing back under control.
There's the car he almost tangled with. Brad Loney in the 45. Glenn Allen Jr. back there. Buckshot Jones with problems in the 36 of Matt Hutter. Buckshot Jones had all that damage to the left front corner of the car. Hutter has been skating in the 36 car. As we watch this group work down the back straightaway, Hutter in the 36 started toward the front today, but has not been able to hang on. He's back in 19th spot on the lead lap. Buckshot Jones back at 21st. Loney has shown 20th, so that's a battle for position back there.
You can see a lot of rubber buildup on the outside of the groove there from the camera angle. When you get in there, it's just like hitting sand, boy. You can really get in the wall in a hurry. A lot of buildup on the outside of the groove.
Glenn Allen in the 99, another driver who qualified very well and started up front. He's had a range of problems today, shown back in 31st spot right now.
The way that thing sounded earlier, I'm surprised he's still going.
Yeah.
Moving along pretty well.
The 5 cars very close together back in the pack, running around 18th, 19th, 20th spot. Let's head down to the garage area. Steve Burns.
With Phil Parsons, had a great start at Daytona, finished in the top 10. Phil, what put you out today?
Well, we blew the motor. This is an engine we had left over from last year. Carl Wagner's doing our stuff this year. Undoubtedly, we should have run one of his instead of this one we had left over from last year, but we got behind on the last pit stop, but we passed several cars since the last restart. And I think we were, headed well on our way to another top 10, but it wasn't to be. I just want to thank everybody from Duraloop, Honeywell, Goodyear, Chevrolet, all the people that helped us, and try to get them at Vegas.
That's up next time.
As We watch Randy LaJoie work on Dick Trickle down to the outside of turn 1. LaJoie shown 12th. Trickle is 11th. Trickle's machine with some body damage, it looked like, too, buddy, on the way by.
Yeah, he's had contact with Tim Feedawar not long ago and got a little body damage there. They slid into each other, both of them racing very hard. And right now, the tires are getting really slick. The fuel load's getting down. These cars are beginning to skate just a little bit.
And if you look at the racing surface, it's gotten much darker, which means it's got a lot of rubber and oil on it, too, which just adds to all the problems. Makes it all slicker and slimier and slipping and sliding.
As you said, that Randy LaJoie showed us exactly what we were talking about. The back of his car just took off for the wall.
Here's Mark Martin challenging for second spot now on the inside of Stewart as they race through the tri-oval down to 1, and Martin climbs back into second.
Well, Robert Presley got by Stewart there a moment ago, and then Mark's going by now, so Stewart is backing up a little bit. I tell you, Robert Presley's got a fast car, buddy, on these long runs. He moves right on up through there right nicely.
Yeah, he must have had a tire problem earlier and got a lap down, but he's been consistently one of the top 3 cars in the last 100 laps.
Yep.
Presley very strong, up to 23rd now after going a lap down earlier. He had run up in the top 4 early in the show here today. There's Stewart backing up a little more now to Mark Martin. Martin still with 2.3 seconds to gain on his teammate Burton, who has led most of the way here today. Martin, uncharacteristically for him here, is sitting second.
You can see a contrast of lines between the first 2 cars. Right now, a lot of the cars are running around the base of the racetrack, which Mark Martin's famous for. His teammates running a little bit higher, which is the best we'll see later on in this run.
Well,
I'm sorry, Rich. Go ahead. Tell us what you wanted to tell.
No, it just saves the tires a little bit. If you're fast, the car's handling good, he can move up the track a little bit. It's easier on the tires. So that's maybe the all. He's just conserving a little.
A couple of guys who had good runs going today. The 17 of Matt Kenseth. He is 5th, chasing Mike McLaughlin in the 34, who is 4th. And Kenseth turning in another good ride. Steve Burns.
Yeah, Rick, just heading back from the backstretch, talking to Phil Parsons. Talking to Robbie Reiser early this morning, he said the car was just a little bit tight, but that Kenseth was happy with the car. They've obviously adjusted on it and has got it just the way he wants it. Let's go to Glenn Jarrett.
Yeah, Rick, you were talking about the job Matt Kenseth has done. He's doing a great job. He's in 5th right now, and he's closing on McLaughlin and Stewart. Matt started way back in 27th, but I tell you, this kid has really come on strong. I think he's going to have an opportunity to win a race before this year's over. I'm impressed by him.
Had some good runs last season when he came on board partway through the 1997 campaign. Certainly showed everybody a lot at Daytona last year.
I like his car number.
Do you?
Yeah.
I thought he borrowed that from you.
Well, not exactly.
It is a number to pay close attention to, certainly, for all of us. Matt Kenseth riding along nicely in 5th spot. Here's your leader, the 9 car, Jeff Burton, coming up on 150 laps on the board in a couple of moments. Everybody just waiting and watching to see if they'll be needed the rest of the day. We'll be back at the Rock.
The cars are in the pits after a caution flag. Big problems for Jeff Burton. They had a great pit stop going. When they got around to the left rear, something happened. They couldn't get the left rear off. He lost about 5 spots. He came out. Tony Stewart beat everybody out. Jeff Burton lost 4 or 5 positions.
Well, there is Burton back up on the speedway. We saw a tire had gotten loose there down on the apron coming off of pit road as well. Somebody will have to go retrieve that as we take a look at Mark Martin, who should be able to restart in 2nd spot behind Stewart. We're going to show you how the caution came out here a few moments ago, just as we were going away to commercial. Trouble for Brad Loney in the 45 car up in turn 3.
Yeah, to back this up a little bit for that white car on the down on the bottom of the racetrack there, he was coasting into turn 3, and Loney here on the outside clipped him as they went down into turn 3, or whichever way it went. I couldn't tell.
The car on the bottom there was Hank Parker Jr., the white car.
And it looked like Parker had gotten into the wall maybe off at 2. It slowed, and 45 clipped him going into turn 3.
Steve Burns, does this set up Mark Martin for another run to the front?
Well, it could, but I'll tell you who had the best pit stop down here, and that is the 17 of Matt Kenseth. When he dropped off the jacks and popped the clutch out, his team was high-fiving, jumping up and down. Kenseth goes out in the 3rd position. They just crushed their pit stop. Mark Martin on the scoring monitor we see is 6th.
Let's give a call to Elliott Sadler's group there. The number 66 has also moved up there just in front of Kenseth.
152 laps on the board. There'll be 45 to go next time around, and this could be a dandy. Stewart will be your restart leader. Sadler, Kenseth, and Jeff Purvis will be the first 4 when we come back for the restart. 43 laps remaining at the Rock on Saturday. Great to have you with us on TNN Motorsports for the 50th anniversary season of NASCAR, the NASCAR Busch Series. Tony Stewart will lead us back to the green flag for the restart.
It's going to be exciting. It's going to be real exciting right here, buddy.
It already is. They're 3 wide getting into 1 there.
We're going to Vegas next week, and, buddy, we just got dealt a whole new hand of cards right here. So there's a bunch of players that haven't been in this play here before.
Tony Stewart better make it count right now. He's out in front right now. Blaze Alexander's holding up a little bit, holding up Elliott Sadler as they come off turn 2. Look back in the pack here, though. You think these guys aren't going at it?
Hey, it's showtime, buddy. These guys know it's got 40 laps. That's about what these tires feel good for, so should be great.
On board with Mike Stefanik. Earlier, a look with Shane Hall as he rides back in the pack. Stefanik making his first Busch Grand National start today after winning 2 championships last year in the Featherlight Modifieds and the Busch North Series. Down into 3, your leader is Stewart.
Elliott Sadler in the 2nd place there, the 66 car running very, very well. If anything, he's catching Stewart just a little bit every lap.
Elliott Sadler very, very strong late in the going. Steve Burns, are they happy down on pit road?
Yeah, you bet, Rick. We heard crew chief Sandy Jones say that the longer they run, the better they are. So if he's not real close right now, chances are he will be closer towards the end.
Boy, he is dogging Stewart hard as they come out onto the main straightaway.
Yeah, but I tell you, that Burton car, he's passed them high, he's passed them low. He's just coming to them and blowing right by them.
Roush cars did not fare well in that last round of pit stops. Let's go to Glenn Jarrett.
Guys, in addition to what Steve Burns reported on Elliott Sadler, they have been adjusting the track bar on that car all day. They adjusted it to 2 more rounds that time. They finally may have it to where Elliott wants it. Man, he is flying. In the meanwhile, you're talking about Jeff Burton. They're confident they can get back to the front. They're just telling him to take it easy, save a little bit for the end, but he doesn't have a whole lot of time.
Burton at the moment sitting in 6th spot. Martin, his teammate, who has been such a dominating force here in NASCAR Busch Series competition, 1 spot ahead. There's the 60. Martin right now in 5th. Burton is 6th. Directly in front of them, Mike McLaughlin, who is a factor as well. We'll show you a little bit further back. Look at the scramble a little deeper in the pack. Jeff Purvis now moving back a little. We've got Mark Green, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Randy LaJoie. This is for 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, and 14th. Looks like 3 wide, maybe coming off 2. We ride with Randy LaJoie.
That's why there's never a wasted shot when you're covering auto racing. They're racing as hard as the leaders, every bit as hard. Right now, moving up a spot in the national point standings, it means a lot to these guys.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. has been strong today. He's riding 12th right now. Randy LaJoie and Dick Trickle, they've been together on the racetrack most of the way, fighting for 12th and 13th behind Dale Jr.
I tell you, I just can't get it. I can't keep it. Personally, I'm watching Jeff Burton. So that is one show right there. He's just going high, he's going low, he's just putting it on.
I'm watching Earnhardt Jr. just like everybody else. A little smoke coming off the left front tire. Got a little fender rub there. Nothing to worry about, I don't think, at the present time. But he's back by LaJoie and moving towards the front.
Mark Green is 9th. This is for 9th through 12th positions on the racetrack now as the laps wind down. 36 remaining. Your leader remains Stewart. There's Dale Jr. right behind him, the champion LaJoie, 11th and 12th. Mark Martin, we go in car with a Winn-Dixie Ford right in front of him. Jeff Burton has gotten by now, so they've swapped spots. Burton is 5th, right behind McLaughlin, who's 4th.
Jeff Burton's car working well on the high side of the racetrack, low side. You can see Mark close up just a little bit. These cars that they come to now are harder to pass than when he was starting back way back. He's up there with cars that are running very, very well himself now.
Boy, he can do it, too. Golly, that thing is fast. That just makes me feel good when I see a car handle like it. Makes me want to get out there and drive.
Burton to the inside of Mike McLaughlin. Whips by Magic Shoes to grab 4th spot. Here comes Martin with him now. Martin on the low side. We take you back inside the Winn-Dixie Ford. McLaughlin able to cut him off for the time being.
McLaughlin on the high side. You're looking into turn 3. You can see Mark Martin look right back on the bottom, trying to get that edge. Coming up out of the corner, draws even down the straightaway with McLaughlin on the outside.
McLaughlin in the Team 34 Chevrolet, the Gould's Punch car. They legitimately believe they have a chance at the Busch Series crown this year, taking it away they think they can from Randy LaJoie, but McLaughlin needs to move and needs to get close to the front here this afternoon. Martin gets by him from 5th. Further back, there's been a lot of contact back here. It's back around 14th, 15th spot. A lot of of activity back there.
Yeah, Buckshot there in the 0-0. Now he's already lost one fender, so he can't. He only got one bullet left.
On board with Matt Hutter in the Stanley Tools Pontiac, the 36 car, being shown back in 21st spot. Tim Fedewa right in front of him. He's 19. Got Casey Atwood in that mix too. The youngster, the 17-year-old from Nashville. In car number 28, doing a nice job running in the top 20 right now on the lead lap. So a very strong first outing for Casey Atwood as we got a look at his machine there a moment ago.
What he's learning most about is experience around the racetrack. That'll pay off in years to come. A 20th place finish will be wonderful, but what he's learned today, you can't put a value on that.
Robert Presley now with Shane Hall trying to get by. Presley, we documented how he had run up front early, had problems. He's very fast, but he is not yet up with the lead group, trying to get back and has gotten back on the lead lap.
Pull down.
Uh-oh.
I see Casey Atwood. He's eating a sandwich there down the front straightaway.
There's Atwood and Hutter. There's a bunch of rookies right there.
Shane Hall, the young guns, really working hard here today to pile up that experience and not pile up in the process. There's Andy Santerre off of turn 2. He has struggled today and has fought back. He is quick at the moment. Andy Santerre in the 47, running 25th. Laps winding down, coming up on 170 on the board. There'll be 27 to go. Your leader, Tony Stewart. He has been very strong. Glenn Jarrett, what do they think down on pit road?
Well, Rick, Joe Gibbs owns this car now. He bought this team from Bobby Labonte at the end of last year. And Joe just came to me and said all that trouble, all that traffic that Jeff's in is exactly what they want. They told Tony he needs to get as far ahead as he can. Burton has been about a 1/10 of a second quicker all day. But we're clocking it right now. And Tony is actually adding to the lead right now. Jeff Burton is reporting his car is a little bit more tighter, a little bit tighter than he wants it right now. So things looking real good for Tony Stewart. As I told you at the top of the show, this is only his 16th start. He's looking good for the win right now if he can hang on.
Daryl, as you well know, you've dominated races here. Once you get out in clean air and you're running the racetrack the perfect line around, there's a big difference in how you drive the racetrack. Tony Stewart's proven by himself he's as good as anyone.
This is a track where you can slow down and go faster. Back off early, get back on it sooner. And you have the luxury of doing that when you're in the front. You don't have to charge the corner. So that even makes you pick up speed, and you say, I'm backing off, but you're going faster. And that's the way this racetrack is, and that's what's working for Tony right now.
25 laps to go. Your race leader is Tony Stewart in the Shell Pontiac. His best career finish in the NASCAR Busch Series, a third last October at Charlotte. Maybe his first win will come today. We'll find out. Back at North Carolina Speedway in Rockingham, North Carolina. Beautiful Saturday afternoon for NASCAR action on TNN Motorsports. The GM Goodwrench Service Plus 200. The NASCAR Busch Series second race in 1998. Tony Stewart making just his 16th career start today, and maybe his first win.
Mark just blew back by his teammate there, the 9 car. I don't know if something's happened to the 9 car. Let me tell you, Tony Stewart's got a comfortable lead here. If there's a rep on that kid, as far as I'm concerned, I've seen him blow it in the last 4 or 5 laps of a lot of races. I'm anxious to see if he can pull this thing off.
Well, one thing I'm concerned about, Tony Stewart has an open racetrack and proven he's very fast out there by himself, but lap traffic is going to be a main factor before this thing's over.
Yeah, and look at Roush and Roush's 2 cars racing each other. Now, Mark just pulled over and let Jeff go back by.
Glenn Jarrett, what's going on down there in the Roush pits?
Well, one thing, Rick, is Jeff Burton has reported, as I said a while ago, his car's pretty tight. And I think what they were trying to do was to see if running nose to tail together would make them any quicker. It didn't make any difference, so they just let Mark pulled over, just let Jeff go back by. But Jeff's car is a little too tight right now to make a run at Tony.
Yeah. Mark's car is actually better than Jeff's now. I think he's drove the wheels off of it. What's wrong with it?
You see Elliott Sadler in the 66. He's running third. These 2 cars, the 2 Roush machines, are 4th and 5th. Jeff Burton has been the dominant car here.
Yeah, Stewart's pulling away a little now.
Here comes Mark Martin on the bottom side again. They're going at it, man. I'm going to tell you right now, I think what they're doing flip-flopping to see who is the quickest now in traffic.
Yeah, well, Mark's quicker. I can see it. Mark can run the bottom now, and Burton can. So I think that's making Mark's car a little quicker.
If one of those 2 Fords is going to have a shot at Tony Stewart, they need to show it darn quickly because we're coming down 15 to go. And Tony Stewart is working on a 1.7-second lead. The driver to watch, perhaps, is Matt Kenseth. We're going to take you back a little further up the field. There's your third place car, Sadler. Here's your leader, Stewart, now. We'll show you back the lead he has built over Matt Kenseth, who is really a great story in his own right. There's Kenseth about 15 car lengths back.
You can't say too much about that kid. He's running second.
Rick, I got to tell you that Matt Kenseth is actually catching Tony Stewart. He's pulled it down to about a 15-car length lead right now. And if anybody's making a move toward the front, it is the Matt Kenseth car. Here comes Mark trying to get by the 66 of Elliott Sadler also.
Now, Mark's got that. He's got his car working right on the bottom, and he's picked up some speed here.
Elliott Sadler started 13th today, has come to second. He may not, or third rather, and he may not be able to hang on to it for much longer. Martin's pressuring him hard, and Martin swings it low into 3, but Elliott says, hey, I'm not giving up.
Yeah, he's pretty much jumped now. As they start off the corner, though, you can see the outside gets a little bit better run.
The thing about it is you got to give Sadler some credit. Where did he come from? Up until the last pit stop, I don't think we'd call his name, so he did a whale of a job to get up there and be in contention.
Steve Burns described it, that team, the Gary Bechtel Diamond Ridge group, they crushed their last pit stop and got Sadler out very quickly. He gained a lot of spots on pit road, but he's lost 2 here on the racetrack just in the last couple of seconds.
Well, car number 17, and Mr. Kenseth is closing down on the lead right now. He's doing it a little wee bit at a time.
There's the gap between first and second on the left of your screen. Tony Stewart in the Joe Gibbs Pontiac off of 2. And behind him, Matt Kenseth and Robbie Reiser Chevrolet in second spot. Talking about a difference between resources and the number of people you have helping you, too. That's quite a contrast.
With 12 laps to go, Kenseth is actually closing in, and now the lap traffic is going to be a problem. You can see the leaders now getting very close to lap traffic.
Stewart, we've told you, making just his 16th Busch Grand National start. For Matt Kenseth, this is only his 24th start today, but he had a couple of top 5s when he jumped into this 17th car last year, including a 3rd in California in 1997. A driver obviously of great promise. We told you at the top of the broadcast about all the young guys who are really starting to make a mark, and Kenseth is one.
In that one lap, he cut that lead in half. Wow. He will be there in about 2 more laps.
You can remember just a couple of years ago, Robbie Reiser, the car owner, was the driver in this car, and he thought so much of Matt Kenseth, he got out of the driver's seat and said, I'll be the best man for you. It's paying off today.
It's kind of like a Childress Earnhardt story, you know, where Childress gets out of the car and says, I believe this is the guy of the future. So this could really pay off big today.
They're going to put 189 laps on the board this time by. There will be 8 to go. Stewart has 8 laps remaining. Counting down. He has had an incredible early season. You know the story. The 1997 IRL champion won the season opener in January down at Disney World.
Rick, it's down to 10 car lengths now. Tony Stewart's really fighting the car down on the bottom. Very good handling car. Reiser's closing in.
2 of the young stars we talked about at the top of the broadcast today. As Darrell, as you've said so many times, getting there is one thing, getting by is something else.
I was thinking the same thing. He's got to catch him, but I don't know if he can pass him or not.
That last picture you were looking at, that was Joe Gibbs, the car owner of the 44 car there, of Tony Stewart. He's watching him like a play off the line.
Yeah, and here's what's going to happen. Look ahead of the leader. Must be about 8-10 cars are coming up on here real quick, and that's going to be a big factor.
A moment ago, we showed you a battle a little further back for 5th, Elliott Sadler and Mike McLaughlin. What's the situation in Elliott Sadler's pit, Steve Burns?
Well, in that last pit stop, we said that they were going to be better on a longer run. They made a track bar adjustment, as Glenn Jarrett said, but our speculation is wrong. He has actually become very, very tight to where he can't turn the car.
There'll be 5 laps to go for your leader as they come out of turn 4. 5 to go, Buddy Baker.
Darrell, he's got his work cut out for him. Tony Stewart's going to be in this lap traffic.
Whoa.
You can see they're side by side. Tony Stewart's going to have to back off. That's going to bring Robbie Reiser right up on his back bumper.
Boy, if Reiser times it right, Stewart's out of the gas. He's in the gas. He goes right by.
Stewart to the inside. He'll use Shane Hall as a cover car down into 3. Look at Kenseth in the 17. That's the battle for the lead. 4 to go as they come off of 4.
Less than a car left down the front straightaway. Reiser looks to the outside. They're in heavy traffic going into turn 1.
Kenseth just biding his time for the moment as they race into 1. Stewart a lane high. He's got a lap car in front of him. Jason Jarrett moves over, lets the leaders through. Stewart wiggles off of 2 a little bit.
You see him giving the hand signal. Let me on back on the inside. I'm running well on the lower side. The lap car backed off and let Matt Kenseth to the inside of the racetrack.
Stewart's a little quicker down the straightaway. Reiser's handling a little bit better. That may be the difference.
3 laps to go.
get under him off one of these corners, he might be able to get him, but it's going to be awfully hard to do.
2 young lines. Yeah, really, right now, one mistake, and you're back in second place to Tony Stewart.
I saw a commercial the other day for Pontiac said wider's better. I think it's going to pay off today.
Here comes Kent.
Here comes to the inside, looking for the lead. 2 to go.
Stewart's got a little bit more straightaway speed.
And he's cutting him off just a little bit.
But that one cut under him, Ronnie. Cut under him.
Come on, coming up on lap traffic. This is for the lead. Kenseth, they rub.
Come on.
There's your first donut on Tony Stewart. You can see that 17 there, fighting very, very hard. Kenseth on the inside.
Oh, he got the lap traffic's going to put him back.
Kevin Grubb on the low side. White flag. This time, Tony Stewart over the stripe. Less than a lap to go into 1.
Boy, that lap traffic was the difference.
Joe Gibbs taking a look. Stewart with a 2-car length advantage. Down the back straightaway, the IRL champion. His 16th career Busch Grand National start. Just joined this team a year ago. This could be his first win.
Look at this. He gives him a little assistance there.
He's got him to the inside. He's going to get him. He's going to get him. Matt Kenseth wins it. He got him straightaway. He got him. Matt Kenseth for Robbie Reiser's team with no sponsor on the back quarter panel other than a thank you to Lycos for last week. Takes his first Grand National victory. What a race.
Man, that was beautiful.
Here's a battle a little further back in the pack for 15th, and Buckshot Jones may have taken that spot.
Buddy, did I tell you what a great driver I thought that kid was?
Ooh, I'm telling you, he just touched him enough to get him offline a little bit, not enough to wreck him. Hey, that's hard racing. That is not.
Jeff Gordon do that to Rusty Wallace there at Bristol, you know, ladder lap.
That is a case of want to win right there, boys.
I'm telling you, that was exciting.
There's Jack Roush giving him a thumbs up. Jack Roush's group helping Matt Kenseth and that team a little bit now, and very pleased Jack Roush is to see a driver he's got high hopes for come to victory lane.
Yes, Jack's happy. 17-1, I'm happy.
Hey, maybe that's an omen for tomorrow.
It could very well be.
Matt Kenseth, a very excited young man. For Tony Stewart, who has won so much in his young career, a disappointment, but you know he'll be back and he'll have many more days of glory in NASCAR racing in the days to come. For Matt Kenseth, his first win. Steve Burns on pit road.
Here we go.
With Robbie Reiser, here comes the donuts. Robbie, how do you feel?
I'm pretty excited. Like I said, you know, this is a family race team, and you can see Matt, he's pretty excited. Both of us are from Wisconsin. Got our chance to come down here, and I used to race against Matt, and putting a combination together with him driving and Reiser Enterprise team working together, we finally made it here. We've been working our tails off. This is pretty exciting.
Robbie, I saw you in the motel this morning. Did you think at 6 o'clock this morning you could win this race?
Well, to tell you the truth, me and Matt have talked. You know, me and Matt have a really good communication, and last night he didn't really feel that comfortable with the car, and I could see it on his face, you know, and the more we talked about it, the more he wasn't quite sure. And came in this morning and changed 3 springs and changed a couple things on the car, and boy, in the long run, I mean, it wasn't that great on the you know, when we first started on new tires, but the more we ran, the better the car got, and towards the end there, I kept telling him, you know, stay calm, conserve your tires. It's going to come to you. All of a sudden, we started, you know, towards the end, we got to be 2-3 tenths faster, and here we are.
Well, it's a great story, and guys, they lost their sponsor right before they got to Daytona, had the cars all painted. What a success story, Robbie Reiser.
Yeah.
Unbelievable finish to today's GM Goodwrench Service Plus 200 here at The Rock. What a way to end our first live broadcast of NASCAR competition in 1998. Take one more look at how the 17 car and Matt Kenseth got the win. Coming out of turn 4, just a little contact with Tony Stewart, enough to get underneath and come to the line and steal the victory. Matt Kenseth, your winner at The Rock. We'll come back and talk to the young driver in victory lane. Our coverage of the GM Goodwrench Service Plus 200 on TNN Motorsports is brought to you by Napa Auto Parts. At Napa, we keep America running. Welcome back to The Rock. Ladies and gentlemen, you have seen a young driver just win his first NASCAR event. Let's go to Glenn Jarrett.
And up on top of the car, Matt Kenseth. I tell you, folks, the emotion's running very high down here. The Gatorade falls off. I think Jack Roush on his way. Come on down here, Matt. Congratulations, man. What a great, exciting race. What a finish. Tell us about that last lap.
I tell you what, Glenn, Tony's a great racer. Hats off to Tony. Got a little touch and go there at the end, man, but we needed to win the race. We don't have a sponsor in the car. We're looking for a full-time sponsor. Riser Enterprise, they're the best, boy, man. They're an awesome race team. Got a little touch and go off there, too. A couple lap cars got in the way. I had him beat there, and he pitched me off with the lap car. And I just nudged him a little off forward, but hey, sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
We asked the question of Carl and Robbie Riser just a moment ago, Matt. We're going to ask you the same question now. Going into the race this morning, you knew you had a good car, but did you think it was good enough to win?
Heck no. I thank Jack Roush and Robbie Riser and everybody for all the support and technical support they've been giving me. They made some great decisions on the car this morning. The thing was flawless all day long.
I want to bring Jack into the picture right now. Jack, we've already commented that you're giving some help to Matt. And tell us your thoughts on this young man. What a job.
Well, it was all in Mark's say-so. You know, somehow Mark felt that he had gone through the same kind of a process that he had, and said that when he was Matt's age, he was able to do or wished he could do what Matt could do, and that we should give him a chance. So we've been trying to help. We haven't helped as much as his team has, but we've done all we could.
I'm going to ask Matt one more question now. You're going to get calm down here a little bit. You're going to talk to the crew, and going to celebrate a little tonight?
Oh, probably, man. We just kill our pit stops. The guys have worked so hard all winter on their pit stops, and me and Rob have been going to the gym every day to get in shape, and we thought we had all the bases covered when we came in this year to try to seriously run for the championship. And Robbie Riser, my team owner, crew chief's the greatest. He believed in me and stayed with me. There was a lot of drivers that had sponsors with them that wanted to drive this car, but Robbie believed in me, and it's paid off.
You made everybody a believer now, Matt. Congratulations again. Go celebrate, man.
One of those rare NASCAR drivers you'll see with nothing on his uniform. They are in search of a full-time sponsor. This is the last lap. What a battle. Stewart in the 44-year leader. And here's Kenseth with 1 to go as they come down the backstretch.
With 1 to go, he served notice it's going to happen again pretty soon. I need to win badly. They head off in the corner. Stewart's fighting hard on the outside there. Kenseth looked like he had him pretty much underhand there, but he didn't. You see on the outside there, the 44 Stewart going back into the lead, but coming off the last corner, hey, he wanted to win bad.
DW commented on last year's race at Bristol in the Winston Cup Series when Jeff Gordon kind of moved Rusty Wallace out of the way with a similar move. It does work coming off of turn 4.
Yeah, he just touched him enough to get him offline. It was not anything intentional to create any problem, just enough to move him.
Young driver who gave a great accounting of himself today comes home second. He's with Steve Burns.
Tony, an exciting race. Unfortunately, you were second. Matt Kenseth first. Describe that last lap.
Well, you know, just went into 3 and 4 like we had for 196 laps, and on the exit off of 4, he got into the left rear and got us loose to where I had to get on the gas for a second. That's all I needed to get by.
Great race.
Thanks.
There is a driver who does not take finishing second very lightly. There's the move Kenseth made coming off of turn 4 to swing underneath Tony Stewart and come to the line and beat him. Matt Kenseth, your winner at the Rock. What a terrific start to our live coverage this year of NASCAR action here on TNN Motorsports. Back to tell you more of the stories of today's upfront finishers when we return.